Siomra Beag.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome kind of back to On Siomra Beag. Welcome more or less back to the tiny room. We've had a bit of an issue, a bloody issue this week, but we'll get to that in a few minutes. I am the Michael of Michaelandbenjaminspodcast, and I am joined in the tiny room by none other than the original coy boy. It's Shane.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
There's no need to be so coy, Shane.
Oh, you, Michael.
And the reason, ladies and gentlemen, that we're joined by Shane in the tiny room this week is that all three of us of Siomra Beag, me, coy boy Shane, and Ben, we travelled to America this week. And Ben, because he's a millennial, missed his flight back, didn't you, Ben? Say hello.
Hello, I'm an awful plank, and I did miss my flight. Oh, millennial me.
So Ben is currently in an airport in America recording this on his iPhone.
Yeah, it's great. I love it.
iPhone.
What a weird thing to take issue with. Anyway, in celebration of our new weird arrangement for this week, I've recorded a new theme music. So Ben, I'm gonna have to ask you here not to respond to this, so that I can edit in a clean copy, and then you can respond when it has finished.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here comes the new theme music just for this episode. It's Shane and Ben. Hallelujah, it's Shane and Ben. Every specimen, tall, blonde, pale and lean, rough and tough and strong, and Ben. That's the new theme music for this week.
Can we keep that for every week? I quite like that.
No, we can't have Shane every week. He's a busy man. He has lots of stuff to do.
That's fair enough.
Skip this week.
Did you?
He did. Yeah. Look, lads, we're not talking about a skip. It's not podcasting gold.
Welcome to Skipping Along, the new weekly podcast all about
where we discuss how to best fill a skip.
Once
Is
again,
it flat pack, Tetris, or just get a hatchet and hack stuff up.
Once again, Ben, you've off the cuff come up with a better podcast name than our actual podcast name. Skipping Along, the weekly skip filling podcast. Anyway, look, speaking of things, Watchmen is on. It's good, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's lovely.
Do they, Ben? You've been stranded in the airport in America.
I have.
Have you seen the latest episode of Watchmen over there?
Are we on episode number 4 or 3?
4.
4. No, I've not seen 4. I've seen 1 to 3.
Oh, you haven't seen 4? Okay.
I've been trying to sort out the immigration issue here, Michael. Trying to get back.
I mean, people are going to know that this is a true story from your audio quality, I assume.
It's definitely true. I have a tiny little piece of plastic held up to my mouth.
Ben, there is so much lag on your video.
From security?
Sir, we're going to require you to blow into this to make sure you're not sneaking any pop culture memorabilia out of the country.
I totally am. But it's hidden in a place they'll never look. So it's
your
grand.
whole bag, your whole butt is full of Funko Pops.
Full of pop culture. A butt full of pop culture.
Look, Ben, we're on episode 4. Shane, you have some thoughts on episode 4 of Watchmen?
I found episode 4 of Watchmen the least engaging so far.
Oh, no.
It deepens the mystery. They do a bit of investigation. There's a bit of back and forth between the characters, but everybody in it is kind of established, so there's nothing dramatic. There's no end like last week where there was the,
ooh, something has happened.
Was brilliant. This week didn't grab me.
Oh. I think
there was the woman who now owns Adrian Veidt's company, True or whatever.
I think her name is Madame True.
Yes. She starts the episode and excellent scene.
Very good
a baby
scene.
is held to ransom. It's great. There's like a countdown and a little hourglass thing.
The stakes are high.
Yeah, but after that, the episode kind of peters out in terms of my interest. Still good, but not as good as the other ones.
Still good.
The least exciting bit so far.
Hmm.
Ben?
Yes.
Can I ask, are you listening to us on your headphones or through your audio? Because I think we might be hearing ourselves.
I'm listening to you through headphones.
Okay, that's fine then.
So I'll be very surprised if you can...
No, that's fine. If there's an echo later, we'll blame you.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just thinking that I don't really remember what happened in this week's episode of Watchmen, so it mustn't have been that engaging.
Yeah, we sat here for 5 minutes beforehand and tried to piece together the episode.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's
and how
good
did it go?
That we didn't try and reenact it in front of you so that you'd be brought up to speed.
That's
had
more,
a lot of scene missing bits.
I think that's more of a visual medium sort of thing.
Yes.
Anyway, Ben.
Yes.
You are famously a huge fan of Richard and Mortimer.
Yeah, well, I'm not against the show, Michael. I'm against the fan base of the show.
Well, Ben, you'll be delighted to hear that most of the comedy in the new episode comes from that concept.
Oh,
No,
good.
they don't involve the fan base at all.
No, they do. That's
the
the point.
opposite. The opposite.
It's the opposite. Are you doing a meta-referential joke?
No,
or-
I got confused.
Okay, good.
I
No,
don't
they do.
really follow Richard and Mortimer.
There's a whole thing about Ben. They travel to many parallel universes, and all the universe, everyone's fascists. And,
Oh,
yeah, and Richardo says, "Since when did this become the default?" Which is pretty interesting. And then he gets held captive. Spoilers, obviously. Sorry, spoilers for season 4 premiere of Richard and Mortimer. He gets held captive by a fascist Morty who just wants to have classic adventures without any meta commentary or. And he's like, "What do you like? Do you like Mr. Meeseeks?" And they bring a Meeseeks box. And yeah, we've done this before. That's good. Let's keep doing this. No changes. Everything gonna stay the same.
so this is Dan Harmon just having another crack at petty internet people and
It seems to be, Ben.
the
So you'll
culture that
probably
they build
enjoy
up around them. It's gotten some backlash.
What has the episode?
The episode has gotten some backlash because I have been keeping up with the backlash, of course, Michael.
Well, you've nothing to do
and-
over there in America.
And the diehard fans, Michael, the diehard fans are not fans. Obviously, they don't like being shown what they are. It's an uncomfortable experience for them, like looking in a mirror. It's awful.
Are you on the Reddit, Ben? Is that how you know this?
Yes, I love an old Reddit. You know me, Michael.
I quite enjoy hearing about Rick and Morty and people explaining the jokes because it seems quite clever. I just don't enjoy the animation style or the sound of their voices, so find episodes very hard to watch.
I don't think it is
So-
quite clever. I don't.
Oh.
I don't.
Oh.
No, I don't mean it like that. I don't mean it like
You're
that.
so-
but
you
I
would
don't-
say that, Ben.
I
You're
don't
such
think
a
it's
Jerry.
in any way intentionally meant to be clever. I think people that watch it like to think that they're clever because they.
You watch it.
Yeah, I watch it. Yeah.
You love thinking you're clever.
I do. It's like my favorite pastime. It's
You're
the
watching
number
it
one
now.
reason I do anything.
You're watching
the
it
host.
now.
I
and
am.
You think
I
you're
am.
such a Rick that you can both watch it and host a podcast at the same time. Not like a basic Jerry who wouldn't be able to do either.
Oh, I'd never be a basic Jerry. I'm a total Rick. Total
Anyway.
Rick.
Look, that's enough of that. Benjamin,
Yes.
over there in America.
Yes.
The reason for our trip.
No,
That America.
we just skipped something.
Oh,
Over there in America, Ben, have you seen the latest release from Dwayne "The Rock" Johnston?
Big old poster, Michael. Big old poster made in conjunction with Mr. Jim Lee himself.
Oh, is that poster done with Jim Lee?
Yes, it was made with Jim Lee. The concept was designed by Jim Lee, and then he was.
That
he
would
was
be
added
Stan
in.
Lee's brother?
Nope.
No, okay.
No.
The other Jim Lee, so.
Yeah. You're thinking of James Lee.
Is there another Jim Lee? Anyway, what you're referencing, Michael, what you're referencing there is we got our look at Black Adam.
We did, Ben.
We did.
What do you
And,
think?
He looks big and imposing, and exactly as I would have imagined The Rock to be as Black Adam.
It's pretty much, isn't it? It could be fan art.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just...
No. It was posted by The Rock. It's
Oh,
an
yeah, but
official.
No.
I think, yeah. Okay.
You
I'm
mean
not-
that it has the quality of fan art?
Yeah, well, no, I'm not saying it may be fan art. I'm saying it very well could be. No, how do you explain the difference here?
Yeah.
Look, I'm not saying it is, but I'm saying it has the look of fan art.
It's got a fan art-esque aesthetic about it.
Good fan art, like good
Good
fan,
fan
art.
art. Yes.
By a quality artiste, but
Yeah.
somebody who holds The Rock and Black Adam in high esteem and
Yeah.
wants to portray that in the visual medium.
Looking up
Yes.
at him from a
Yes.
ground level.
I think that's fair. I think
A boss
that's fair.
logic.
It's many years away. It's 2021, I think.
Yeah.
2021 is creeping up on us, Ben. There's only about
Yeah,
6
I know.
weeks left of
That's true.
2019.
That's true. Oh,
We'll be
God,
watching.
time.
We'll be watching Black Adam before we even realize it.
Yeah, I know. We'll be there on a Wednesday night of a Wednesday evening.
if they
there's-
still have Wednesdays in 2021.
Yeah. If there's one thing that is eternal, it is Wednesday Night Cinema Club.
Yeah, no, we might have switched to a decimal-based week system by
Oh,
then.
that would be so fun.
Yeah, it's day
Would it?
4.
Nah, I'd like to go in 12s.
Oh, classic,
Yeah.
old school.
What's the weekend situation on a 12-day week?
4.
4-day weekend.
Yeah.
How
4-day
do you not
weekend.
know that?
Okay. Because I'm pure thick. I've been
What a Jerry.
interrogated by American authorities over here in that America for too long.
You
Sir,
haven't been
mind
to
is
any of our
cheese.
town hall meetings where we've dealt with changing it to a 12-day week
Yeah.
with a 4-day weekend.
Sir, is this a Diana of Themyscira Funko pop-up your butt?
What of it? What's
Yes,
to
it
you?
is. It's nothing to do with smuggling.
What's
It's
it to
just
do?
something I'm into. Who are you to judge? We're the U.S.
And then that
authorities.
American
sir.
official gives me a sly wink and says, "Me too, buddy.
Me too. Yeah, and then he produces a. I can't think of someone funny. Who would be funny to have up your butt?
Juggernaut.
Juggernaut. Yeah, Juggernaut. He produces an oversized Juggernaut Funko
He's got a
Pop.
nice- I'm just looking around Mick's room, and Juggernaut has a nicely shaped helmet for the insertion into Ben.
Well, okay, let's leave it there now.
Yeah. So anyway, lads, moving on swiftly from that,
Shane,
because that's
you
just
were saying-
horrific.
Yeah, you were saying, Shane, that you think that that The Rock thinks that Black Adam is a superhero.
Yeah, now look, The Rock is more closely aligned with this production than I am.
Yes.
But as I understand it, Black Adam is the villain. But The
Yes.
Rock's whole Instagram post was how, as a kid, he wanted to be a superhero. And then he talks about how Black Adam is, in fact, a superhero who does what's right, just, in his own way.
Nah.
Yeah,
He's
so...
he's a bad bloke.
Yeah, that's all I got. And I
Yeah,
was like,
real bad egg.
maybe The Rock kind of got a real short blurb on what this was about and is just throwing his considerable weight behind it promotionally.
It's funny, though, isn't it, that The Rock has somehow, nearly 20 years later, ended up in another Egyptian-themed prequel origin story to the villain of a different franchise.
It's all circles.
Everything
It's all
circles, Ben.
circles, baby.
They might as well have called it Black Adam - The Scorpion King 2.
So there will be no Zachary Levi in this one. Then it is a prequel.
I don't know, Ben. I don't have my ear to the ground on this one, to be honest with you.
Shane,
I had
read
no
anything on
idea.
The Rock's Instagram?
No, myself and The Rock are diverging pathwise.
Oh, no.
I mean,
Oh no.
Not adjacent to this podcast, but the UFC had a title match for an invented title called the Bad Motherfucker belt,
They did.
which is just stupid. It's two guys who couldn't win an actual belt. And
Yeah.
they tried to
And they
generate...
give. Okay.
Yeah, but they brought The Rock on to present it because he's starring in some biopic later on. And he's also gotten into the bottled water business, which I abhor.
Oh.
So me and The Rock spiritually parting ways.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I'm
Maybe
gonna have to
Jumanji
find-
2 will set you straight.
Maybe.
Jumanji 2, sorry.
Yeah.
Jumanji 4.
Jumanji 2.
Wait, is it 2? Which
Jumanji
Jumanji is it?
3. It's
Is it Jumanji 3? It's Jumanji 3. Thanks, Ben.
Jumanji 3.
Jumanji 3. It's
Jumanji
just
3.
about one tree in Jumanji.
Yeah. Jumanji 2, Jumanji 3, as it's also known. Return to the
God.
jungle.
Right.
Maybe that'll
yeah,
set
so
you back.
anyway, are you excited to see Black Adam represented on screen, Michael?
No, I
Or do
don't
you
care.
care?
I don't care, Ben. He's really low down the list of characters I care about.
Yeah, and in terms of
It's-
representation, Mick has seen plenty of men who look vaguely like him
Yeah,
as superheroes.
it's fine. It's a large bald man as a superhero. That's pretty much. That's
Yeah, we've
pretty
had that
standard.
a few times.
Yeah, Ben. I'll tell you what, though. Here's something
Go
I
on.
forgot to put on the bloody notes. The run order. Did you see that Marvel have released the release date for Disney Plus here?
Mm-hmm.
It's March next year, which is ridiculous. That's going to mean repeated trips back and forth to America for us.
It's going to be a
The
pricey
budget.
year, Michael. It's
going to
be a
be-
pricey year.
It's completely blowing out the budget of Chumry Bug here. But also, they've released still images of the concept art for the uniforms for Winter Soldier, Falcon,
Oh,
Emily Van Camp's Agent 13,
Ooh.
Baron
Oh.
Zemo, and they've all gone quite comic accurate.
oh, that's good, isn't it?
Isn't it?
We'll
And-
have a bit of that.
I tell you what, Ben, I won't do any spoilers at the moment, but the reason we went to America was to watch The Mandalorian.
We did.
And The Mandalorian, I'm not going to do any spoilers on The Mandalorian here, but it has given me confidence that when they say the Marvel shows are going to be like 6-hour movies, they are going to be like 6-hour movies.
I think they are.
In
Michael,
terms of
I-
production quality and budget and whatnot.
The bar's been set. The bar
So-
has been set.
Let's bloody get on with it then. Ben, tell us why have you become trapped in America?
So, Michael, you, Shane, and myself went over to that America so we could see something.
Surely it should be This America, given where you're sitting.
You're in America, so you
That's
would
true.
say this America.
That's true. I'll have to readjust to it. This America. I
Yeah.
came over to this America and I got stuck in this America because I'm a millennial. You have returned, but the reason we came, Michael, is to watch a show that won't be out in Ireland until March, apparently.
Bloody March.
We went to see The Mandalorian, Michael.
We did. It was very good,
We-
I felt.
We travelled all the way over, got off the
Mhm.
plane, got a quick motel next to the plane, set up our phones, downloaded Disney Plus, quickly subscribed, and watched The Mandalorian. Then
Well, I
you
mean,
two...
We had the Shomer Bjug account. We
Yeah.
didn't all set up accounts.
No, that would be ridiculous, Ben.
That would be ridiculous. You're right. Thank God you reminded me of what we actually did when we went to This America.
And of course, the Shomer Björg account is a credit card based in the US, which you need to access Disney Plus.
Yes, absolutely. Of course. We had to set up a bank account, go through credit checks. Thank God you've got such good credit, Shane. Nick and me would have been screwed.
I pay my bills on time.
Here's the thing, right? Let's briefly talk about this, because although we are the exception, this has got to be the most pirated piece of media product in history.
I think it is. I think it genuinely is. I think it's breaking records for the amount of piracy that's being committed.
Because
Space Pirates.
Space Pirates. It's Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's been a huge marketing push behind it.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's probably, people are, I think, more excited about this than some of the recent Star Wars films.
I think it's proper Star Wars. I think that's a really important kind of...
Oh, I'm making a face there. Go on,
Shane's making a face.
justify yourself.
Because it's as close as we've gotten to that original Star Wars feel of any of the Disney properties that have come out, Star Wars-wise. Of any of the Disney-owned Star Wars properties.
Ben, we'll get to that in a minute.
Okay, go on.
Not a fucking Wookiee in sight.
Because we're not talking about that yet. But yeah, they put a huge push behind it, and then they've told more than half of the world, you can see it next March. When
Which is no good.
all the spoilers are going to be out there,
Yeah.
all the YouTube discussion videos, the popular podcast segments. Did a little wink there. Did a little wink talking about us. Everyone is going to have bloody seen it. So the loyal and noble few who don't pirate this thing
We'll
are
have
going
to live in some sort of cave?
bubble, force bubble.
Rock
Can you make
cave?
a force bubble?
Yeah, I think you can do a force bubble. In some of the video games you can anyway, can't you?
Oh,
But
yeah.
look, what I'm saying is, it's a real victory for piracy. I'd say all of those Pirate Bay sites and stuff that had been kind of waning in popularity as access to content was becoming easier and easier.
Well,
I'd say
I think in some ways, a lot of these companies have shot themselves in the foot, Michael, because you're seeing that return to cable television where you have to subscribe to multiple subscription services just to get one piece of content that you're interested in.
Yeah.
And eventually some clever man's going to come along and make package deals where you can pick and choose, which is just cable under a different name.
Yeah, well, I mean, at least it's streaming and you have control over the timetable. But yeah, you're not wrong, I don't think.
Yeah.
It's still constricting consuming patterns and stuff like that. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? It's-
you pay your €40 a month and you get HBO on demand, Disney Plus, and Netflix.
yeah,
Yeah,
I think
I mean, Sky are already starting to do it. If you sign up for Sky, you get your year's free Netflix. Someone else has Amazon Prime. It won't be long before
Right.
you get like one or two with it. So your
Yeah.
all cable providers are getting in on it. I mean, we thought we had freedom, but no, just a master
No.
by a different name.
Yeah.
but that's
It's
why
always the way.
piracy will be coming back, baby. Space pirates. Space piracy.
Anyway,
Make it come back.
let's bloody talk about The Mandalorian. Let's
Go
take
on.
one of our famous spoiler breaks, because we're going to go straight into it. It's a spoiler break. It's a spoiler break. We're going to talk about The Mandalorian. Having a spoiler break. Here come the spoilers for the show The Mandalorian, which we saw legally. All right, we're
Absolutely
back.
fantastic.
Did you enjoy
Stunning
it, Ben?
musical achievement.
Oh, my effort there, you mean?
Yeah.
Yes, it was very good.
Stunning musical achievement there. But also, Michael, The Mandalorian. Fantastic show.
So, Ben, you enjoyed it. Unremittently, you enjoyed it.
That's not how that word works, and I actually get to say that. I actually get to say that. That's amazing. Oh, what a great trip. I may have missed my flight, but it's all been worth it. It's all been worth it just to hear that.
Don't get,
Yes, I
don't get
enjoyed
too
it.
excited or security in the airport will tase you.
Yeah.
I unapologetically enjoyed The Mandalorian. Yes, I did.
Very good. Shane, what did you feel as an initial thought?
Still a bit Star Warsy for my liking.
Look,
There were Jawas, and one thing was nice. A droid rolls up in some sort of car.
land
and
speeder.
Yeah, car. And he goes, no droids, and gets the droid to fuck off. I was like, oh, this guy gets me.
Are you a no droid kind of guy?
Oh, I fucking hate droids.
Look-
I hate anything that communicates through a series of beeps.
That's fair. That's
Look,
fair.
Ben, I think it's fair to say, on this podcast, no great Star Wars fans are we.
No, I think we'd be a barren Star Wars gang.
Of the three of us, I am probably the biggest Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I am at best a middling fan of Star Wars. I have seen all of the films.
Why
and
is beyond me?
No, you've seen all of the films too.
I have not. I've not seen the latest one.
Have you not? You haven't
Nope.
seen The Force Awakens?
Oh, I haven't seen
Nope.
that either.
I haven't
Okay.
seen it.
So I've seen all of the films. I've seen most of the TV shows, but I haven't had the stick-to-itiveness to get through them all. And I've read one or two of the comic books, and I have 2 action figures.
Normally in the podcast, we'd probably do a... So, what even is the Mandalorian or a Mandalorian? But between the three of us, I don't think we could answer that.
I think I can
Well,
answer
I
that.
can
Oh,
help a
go
little
on.
bit with that if
All
you'd
right.
like to do it.
Well, Ben, you categorically just state what a Mandalorian is there.
Ooh, this is going to be a classic Ben makes up an answer.
No. So the Mandalore, first of all, is a planet in the Star Wars universe.
Right.
And they have a really complex kind of lore history within Star Wars. But most of us would have been introduced to the concept of what a Mandalorian is by Boba Fett in the original trilogy.
I'm just going to stop you there, Ben. Being Irish, it's Boba Fett.
Okay.
Bob O'Fett.
Bob
Okay.
O'Fett.
Bob O'Flaherty,
Yeah.
famous
Bob
bounty hunter to
O'Flaherty.
the stars.
Yes. That's what people call him now. Bob O'Flaherty.
So Bob O'Flaherty was introduced to us, and he gained some kind of cult following for very little reason. He was a big stoic badass
He has a cool helmet
with a jetpack.
and a cool helmet.
And then we were introduced to that, and then when we went back to the prequels,
Yes.
we were introduced to Jango Fett, who's his father and the original template for the clones of the Clone Wars.
Was he his
Um,
father, though, Ben?
No, he wasn't his father. Sorry, he was. Yeah, again, sorry. It turns out that Bob O'Flaherty,
Yeah.
was just a clone of Django
Django Flaherty.
O'Flaherty. I don't
Yeah.
know how to. I don't know how to extend that one. But yeah, so he kept all the other clones went through accelerated aging, but he wanted one kept for himself that aged at a normal pace.
Right.
And that was going to
Right.
be his successor or his
Right, yeah.
his son by another name.
Yeah.
And people kind of love those two characters. I'm not sure they love Jango Fett as much. And then as we went along, we got the Clone Wars TV series, and that began to expand the Mandalorian lore and background and culture and stuff like that. And we were introduced to these group of people. So one of the important things that we know about Mandalorians is they hate Jedi.
Oh, I didn't know that. Did you know that?
And
didn't
I
know
didn't
that
know
at
that.
all.
I didn't
so
know that.
Mandalorians have a
So,
really, really long...
Racist.
Yeah. Seem to be a bit.
um,
Don't like droids, don't like Jedis.
Yeah.
Hmm.
they
I
have
mean,
a
if
real
you don't like
issue.
anyone, you're just surly. But
Yeah.
if you've just singled out one group of people for
Yeah.
one tiny part of their makeup,
Hmm.
yeah, bit racist there, Ben.
Bit racist, Ben.
Anyway, I'm not
Yeah.
defending Mandalorian bigotry. It's not going
Bloody-
to happen.
Bloody
Um,
Mandalorians more like it.
Anyway, they have an original. They're a warrior culture, kind of
Yeah.
similar, I guess, to the Predators. If you wanted to
Okay.
find a distinction, it's a very might makes right kind of culture.
Oh, like the
um,
Klingons.
Yeah, not unlike Klingons, they'd be Star
Like
Wars
the
version, kind
Viltrumites.
Yeah.
of- Yeah, I suppose
Or
it'd be a
the
little bit like that.
Hirogen.
And their original, the reason their planet is called Mandalore is because of their original leader, whose name is Mandalore.
Mandingo.
something.
I think it is. I think it's Mandalore the Great or something like that.
Mandalore the Great, and it's based on that culture. Anyway, they began a campaign of expansion
Palace.
throughout the universe, not unlike a Viltrumite. I can never
Yeah.
get that one. They began their own kind of mass conquest of the universe, and then they only bloody ran into some Jedi who were like, "Hey,
Get back in your
over-
box.
Chill out, lads.
don't be acting the bollocks." And traditionally, Mandalorians had been much better at conquering places,
Right.
and then they came up against these bloody space priests
Yeah.
who could push them back
With
with their
mind
minds and
powers,
stuff,
yeah.
and they were like, "Oh, this is no good."
Bunch of
And they started-
hippies.
And they started to lose a lot more. So they kind of retreated to Mandalore, and they began to develop weaponry and armor that was specifically built to tackle Jedis.
Oh.
And it became a whole thing. It became a whole. So their armor that you see referenced in the Mandalorian is very special armor. I think it's supposed to be kind of lightsaber proof and this kind of thing.
Beskar Steel.
It has that magic metal that they're also obsessed with.
Aluminium.
And one of the very controversial things that the Clone Wars did is that we find out that Boba Fett and Jango Fett,
Bob O'Flaherty.
Boba Fett is considered to be a pretender by the Mandalorian Council.
Good. Good.
It's someone
Sharp
who
inhale.
he's not a Mandalorian. He's someone who stole Mandalorian armor and
Good.
technology. And this caused absolute uproar in the Star Wars community. Because before that, we had always known that Boba Fett was a tried and true Mandalorian.
Yeah, no, he's not. He's a fake.
He's not. He's just some guy. He's
Yeah,
a
he's considered-
cosplayer.
He's a
Yeah,
he's a
because the Mandalorian Council has chosen the way of peace in the modern context. During the time of the Clone Wars, which is pre-Empire, they've chosen peace. Sorry, that's really long.
Yeah,
I
Ben,
know.
I'm so
Anyway,
bored hearing about this.
That's Mandalorians, and they have a
I
strong
didn't think
honor
I could
culture.
hate Star Wars
and
any
fighting
more than I already
system.
did.
Okay. But anyway,
So anyway,
that's the way they work.
look,
um,
listeners, for the
And
people
that's
who
the
aren't into
Mandalorians are, and
For-
that's about as much as I know on them. So that is
No, it
what
isn't.
even is a Mandalorian. Shane.
you definitely know more. We had to cut you off.
There's an interesting power shift here where Mick can't reach across the table and just hit Ben a slap to shut him up.
Look, listen. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, listeners, the good thing is you need to know absolutely none of that.
Probably better off if you don't know any
You
of
might
that.
be better off
Probably.
not knowing any of that to enjoy the new show, The Mandalorian.
Yes.
Because, Ben, I mean, some of it becomes immediately apparent. We can see that there's some sort of warrior culture who put some sort of special emphasis on this magic metal called Beskar steel.
Yeah.
But essentially what this is the story of a stoic, bounty hunting space cowboy in the space west.
Oh, you'd do a quick draw. Real
I'd
quick
say
on
he'd
the
do
draw.
a quick draw. And he'd bloody beat you in a quick draw. You'd be
A
done.
regular Bob Munson.
I don't know who that is. Who's
Don't know
Bob
who that
Munson?
is. Not a fucking clue.
Fastest draw ever.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he'll do a
Okay.
quick draw. He'll team up with a droid.
He has to.
Yeah, he'll track down a bounty.
Yes.
A
wonderful bounty.
Ben,
Yes.
how many of the Western tropes did you see and then have a little chuckle when they happened?
Oh, I enjoyed that so much, Michael. The opening scene itself is every Sergio Leone film ever.
Even the music.
Mysterious stranger walks into bar.
Yeah,
Everybody gets a bit tense.
yeah.
There's a stupid doorway.
Somebody misjudges the stranger.
Yeah,
There's an L challenge to the stranger's metal.
yeah.
And the
Literally.
L stranger proves to everybody that you shouldn't talk to strangers in bars. Shouldn't be uppity with strangers in bars.
And then the gentleman who he aided turned out to be his quarry.
Hmm.
You know, it's classic.
Classic
It's a classic.
Western, classic cold open.
The only thing that I really missed, and it's a purely aesthetic and in canon reason, is you don't get the close-ups on the eyes that you get from old westerns because Mandalorians can't take their helmets off.
I think they can.
Yeah,
They're not.
They just don't.
They're not welded to their head.
I mean, I'll come back to this later, but in private, with their lady Mandalorians, do they take their helmets off?
I don't know.
They must.
Not all of them prefer ladies, I wouldn't imagine.
No, I'm not shaming here.
Maybe-
I'm just
Maybe
because the issue of procreation and species in Star Wars comes up later on.
it does.
Yeah,
We'll talk about that in a bit.
Yeah.
But I'm sure.
In this episode.
No.
Yes. You said no at exactly the same
Anyway,
moment I said yes.
That was one of my favorite tropes. Breaking the horse trope was there as well. He has to earn the trust of the
classic
animal.
Breaking the horse. There's a
Yeah,
classic.
It's a blurg.
Yeah,
which
it's
is.
It's a blurg.
I mean, just when Star Wars was starting to interest me, they're like, "Oh, what we call it?"
It's very lazy.
Friend of the
very
podcast,
lazy.
Dr. Stephen J. Cadwell, suggested that we call this episode "Hungry, Hungry Hippos in Space." And
That's a pretty good name.
because of the things, the blurgs.
Yeah.
I thought they looked like legged sperms.
I thought they looked like,
Oh,
you know, when you were like, if you had a 3 or 4 year old
And
and,
they
you
drew
asked
them.
them to draw a T-Rex, that's what a blurg looks like.
Yeah.
it's John Favreau's young son's interpretation of a space T-Rex.
Ben, did you like the kind of nomad who helped him?
I have spoken.
That
Yeah, he's
guy,
great.
yeah. Did you enjoy him? We found a bit of trivia on the internet there today.
Go on.
That actually, as you know, that's Nick Nolte.
Yes, the voice.
No, the actor is Nick Nolte.
Oh, right. Okay.
And the way they achieved it was by not applying any makeup. Because usually when you see Nick Nolte in a film, they've applied hours of prosthetics to make him look like a regular human. But that was
It's
just
Nick Nolte.
Yeah, it was
Hashtag no filter.
no filter. Very cheap to produce.
Great to keep the budget low.
Yeah.
In terms of casting, they have gone through the A list of mysterious, gruff old men in Hollywood, like Werner Herzog,
Yes.
Carl Weathers,
Carl Weathers.
Nick Nolte.
Look, both Shane and I were very disappointed that when he walked into the bar, Carl Weathers didn't say, "Mandalorian, you son of a bitch."
That would have been amazing.
Carl Weathers
I would have enjoyed that immensely.
still has massive arms, though. You can see through his Star Wars outfit that he's got enormous arms.
He's still a big man.
He still keeps himself in a bit of shape.
Yeah.
Still a big man. Werner Herzog, though, what an amazing turn. Werner Herzog playing Werner Herzog in space.
Yeah, it's nice to see that they still have vaguely threatening kind of Nazi-esque Germans in
Do you
space.
think Werner Herzog is losing his punch as a kind of he's the bad guy, he's so evil, because he keeps turning up in stuff like Disney or Jack
Rick
Reacher
and Morty.
I mean, have they used Werner Herzog too much?
I don't think so. I think he brings a nice presence to just about anything he's doing. He has that cold, calculated voice that just seems to.
But he's
to fit.
in
I don't
everything.
Is he in episode 2?
He's in everything. He's not in episode 2, no.
I don't know if he's going to be that central to the entire season. Is he? He's going to have a ton of screen time?
I don't know. We're not sure. I don't know. I mean, they leave the planet that Nick Nolte is on.
In episode 2.
In episode 2. Ben, you're going to have to suffer here because
spoilers.
Yeah, because we won't get into the reason that you were out late last night and ended up missing the flight. But
that's good, yeah.
You knew you made the decision.
Suffice to say, you'll need a course of penicillin tomorrow.
You knew that whatever you were doing meant that you wouldn't see episode 2. But yes, let's get into. Let's get into the end of episode 1, Ben. What did you think of the surprise little twist there at the end?
It's only a bloody, and full spoilers here, it's only a bloody baby Yoda.
It's a Yoda.
Yeah,
it's a baby Yoda.
It's a little Yoda.
Obviously, they're very rare. Are they? Are Yodas very rare in the Star Wars universe?
I don't know, Ben. I've only seen one Yoda. Yeah. I think there's a lady one.
But like in Indiana Jones, where you see the hieroglyphs and stuff, there's a picture of a couple.
There's
of
an
R2D2.
Is
there not a Yoda or two?
I'm not sure.
Who knows?
But yeah, I think there's a lady Yoda. I think she's called, there's going to be people who are big Star Wars fans listening to this, and we're not covering ourselves in glory. I think she's called Yiddle or something like that. Or is that?
To be fair,
Yentl?
I'm fairly certain they're not called Yodas. I think it's probably a name of that species for someone in that species. But
this baby proves almost categorically that they definitely do fuck.
Yeah. I mean,
canon.
Wrinkly old canon. Yodas definitely do fuck.
Yeah.
It's canon. And they live for a really long time.
They do. Apparently. Well, we knew that because Yoda was like, look this good when 812 years you won't. Or something. Yeah. I'm sorry, Star Wars
That was
fans.
pretty spot on. Jim Henson is spinning in his grave.
Sorry, Star Wars fans. I'm so sorry.
Jim Henson has been reanimated by some other puppeteer and is now being spun in his grave at that impersonation.
But yes, there's definitely a baby Yoda. The episode 2, Ben, has some very much, I'm going to steal Shane's joke here right out from under him. It has some very much Jason Statham and the baby in space moments.
Yeah, he stole my joke.
Those are great. Oh, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to that now. That'll be good. As soon as the interrogation is finished here in This America, I'll probably go watch episode 2.
Yeah, just stream it there on your phone. You can use the Shamrock Blog account if you want.
Yeah.
Thanks. It's very good of you. Very good of you. Again, great credit, Shane. Thanks so much for helping us out. But yeah, I really enjoyed episode 1. I thought episode 1 was very strong. Very strong, Michael. It did one of those great things where you understand everything about the Mandalorian's character in the first 5 minutes. Like, I think possibly one of my favorite scenes in terms of building the character out was where your man tries to trick him by going to the toilet.
Yeah.
And then you just find out that the Mandalorian was playing along all along. That was kind of the intention.
He knew that the whole time, Ben.
Yeah. And he chucks him into one of those. Is it carb? I can never remember what it's called.
Carbonite?
The carbon. Whatever it is, the stasis thing.
Yeah, Carbonite. Han Solo and Carbonite.
That was a nice throwback to the line he says to that guy in the bar. You can come back warm or cold.
Oh, very good,
Yeah.
There are some nice throwbacks as well. I liked when Werner Herzog said, "We heard you are the best in the parsec."
Yeah, I felt a parsec. That's not a real unit of...
I did not enjoy that at all.
I felt that was Jon Favreau saying, "Look, lads, we've figured out what a parsec is. So don't worry."
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Now, a parsec is a linear distance, so
but
it's like saying, "We've heard you're the best in the kilometer."
What? Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Oh God, I hate Star Wars.
Don't worry about it.
But there were some really good throwbacks throughout that. I mean, even bringing back the carbonite was a great little nod. And I like that he collects them like cards or top trumps. He just has them hanging in a row.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
At the bottom of the ship.
That's what I would do if I was in space, for sure. Anyway, look, Ben, you put up a poster the other day.
I did.
Asking who did Space Cowboys better? Was it everyone's favourite Space Cowboy show, Firefly, or everyone's new favourite Space Cowboy show, The Mandalorian?
And you made yourself an enemy straight away.
Yeah, and our good friend Jim, he saw this poster on the internet, Ben, and he became indignant, and he didn't even realise that you had made it, which brought a certain joy to me, because he said, the cheek of someone, how very dare they ask that question. And I let him talk and then said, Jim, is it this poster you mean? Because that was us. So, Ben, I think your most successful bit of promotion ever.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, probably.
Mick's head on Ramirez's body was also brilliant.
Yeah, look, Ben,
You've had a good week.
Yeah, your image of my head on Ramirez's body has inspired a Comic-Con costume for next year. I've already contacted some people about commissions.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. You have to get the hat though.
Yeah, I know, with the peacock
You
feathers.
Irish peacock.
Yeah.
Shane, are you going to be Christopher Lambert?
I think that's.
I was on the train the other day, and the guy opposite me looked exactly like Christopher Lambert.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Now I think he looked too old to be Christopher Lambert, but like, yeah.
Did you make him laugh? You should have made him laugh. You should have made him laugh.
He was watching something on his iPad, and I really hoped he'd laugh.
It's an insane laugh. I actually watched the Highlander while I was here in This America, based purely on your wonderful episode last week.
Oh, good. Did you enjoy it?
I enjoyed it so much that I tracked down the entire Highlander series is on YouTube.
Oh, very good.
And I tracked down Highlander 1.
Well,
it's some of the best 80s cinematography I've ever seen, combined
brilliant.
with some of the worst editing I have ever seen.
it's a very good film, Ben. You lay off. Anyway, look, we're not here to talk about Highlander. We're here to talk about Star Wars. Benjamin,
Yes.
Let's just bloody flat out state it here. The three of us will flat out state it. The most pressing question: is it better than Firefly? Ben, you're up first.
For me, yes.
Oh, Shane.
It is better than Firefly.
No, it's not.
Oh,
Okay.
I think it is.
Mick?
I think it's better
win
than
one.
Firefly. No,
my
that's not how it
God,
works,
what a
Ben. Just because I agree with you doesn't mean you've won.
No, I've won. That's it. It's canon. It's on record.
I
Official.
think this is better than Firefly. Ben, I don't know I don't know if this was on the Reddit or the Instagram or the Discord, but someone said that Firefly was an effort to recapture the feeling of Star Wars.
Yes.
It was an effort.
Instagram. It was on Instagram.
Was it on Instagram? Who said it?
I'll pull it up here.
You pull it up.
You spin your wheels
I'll
there for a
spin my
second.
wheels, but it was
I'll
a
get it up
very good
officially.
point that
Firefly does a great job, though, of not doing any of that Star Wars nonsense.
Go on.
Things have actual names.
Yes.
There's at most 2 languages spoken, and usually Chinese is only for the swear words.
Right.
And you don't have Jawas or any of those other irritating characters.
Right. I see what you're saying. I do see what you're saying.
Yeah.
And they are very good points. It depends how grounded you want your Space Cowboys. Firefly is
Lightly grounded.
well, yeah. Well, Firefly is certainly more grounded than this because they're only humans. That's all there is. And when you have a universe of only humans, you can make things more spooky and terrifying. Because
Yes.
the Reavers were very terrifying because we didn't know
Yeah.
what they were. If there were Reavers in Star Wars, yeah, so what? They're just
Yeah.
another.
Yeah.
They're just another
And
group of aliens.
They'd initially be scary, and then you'd figure out you could just shoot them.
Yeah.
And then they wouldn't be.
Yeah.
They'd be like
'Cause
zombies in
that's how it
The
works.
Walking Dead.
And by season 3, you'd probably have one on your crew.
Yeah, he'd be a bit surly.
Yeah, he'd be like a Anasazi from
Yeah.
from Andromeda.
Oh, Andromeda.
And he keep trying to eat you.
I think, look, this Star Wars thing, as I said, no great Star Wars fan am I.
No, though, I'm starting
Mm-hmm.
to doubt that, Mick.
But there are a lot of things in this that appeal to me. One thing that appeals me is the video game-like structure of it, where he gets a quest, he goes off and completes that quest, and then gets to upgrade his armor, and then gets
That's
another
true.
quest from another person, and then goes off and has another adventure, and then I mean, in the second quest, he only ends up where he started. But you know what I mean? He's gone on a quest and he's going to upgrade his armor. Cosplayers and video gamers are going to love this. They're gonna be like, well, actually, I'm cosplaying as the Mandalorian from the midway point of episode 4, before he got the third part of the Beskar suit. Like, very good.
Yes.
I like that.
Spot on.
Spot on. Yeah, no, that aspect of it really appealed to me. What also really appealed to me is, Ben, did you figure out who said the thing about...
Yes, I did. I have it here in front of me. I'm just waiting for you to finish your point.
Go on, say who it was, because I'm stealing this person's point.
It was Harimau Cosplay, who frequently
Kieran.
gets in touch with us here at the show.
Yeah.
And it's actually an excellent comment. Both Firefly was an attempt at recreating the feel of Star Wars and the Millennium Falcon, and it's the Magnificent Seven. So like Firefly is like the Magnificent Seven with a heavy focus on that Millennium Falcon feel.
Yeah.
And then the Mandalorian is Clint Eastwood in a few dollars, or for a few dollars more.
Yeah.
So it's kind of an interesting distinction there.
And Kieran's opinion counts for quite a lot because he actually is a Mandalorian.
Yeah. I would also like to refer to it as the Millennial Falcon from now on.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I like the ship in this.
Yeah.
The ship in this has some very Firefly vibes.
It looks like a school bus.
It does.
It
It's
does.
like, it's not cool.
No, it's definitely not.
It's not a cool ship. It's a junkety old yoke but it suits his character.
Yeah, it was junkety, but then they had to do a bit of rebuilding.
Yeah.
And it looked less junkety.
Yeah, it's nice.
You know?
Nice ship. What was I saying?
Junkety.
Millennial Falcon.
Millennial Falcon. Yes. So thanks. That actually did help. So Firefly was an attempt to recreate the feeling of the kind of grotty Western aspect of Star Wars. And this is that same thing with 20 years plus of technology and investment. And when was Firefly?
Effort.
20 years ago? 18 years ago? This is what Firefly could have been, I feel.
Oh, how dare you?
Yeah, no.
I think that's a strong thought. I would almost second that.
I'm not saying necessarily... Like, I really like Firefly, obviously, but Firefly was a step on the path to this, I feel.
Oh, I'm making a face.
He is making a face. He's in a very angry face at me, Shane. Or Ben.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Disagree.
I feel that the cinematography in this, the writing, the cinematography, the special effects, the design work, the music, the panpipes.
The panpipes. So every now and again, the music shifts from being a kind of a Western, to like the Rocky theme.
Yeah, it does.
They lose their way every now and again, and it's like, why isn't he running up steps?
Yeah, but yeah, I really, really enjoyed this. And as I said, no great Star Wars fan am I. If Jedis start appearing in this, my interest will wane considerably.
Oh,
I'd like one to show up and just get shot.
if they shove a space monk into this, I'll be so annoyed.
Well, I mean, the Jedis are dead at this point in Star Wars lore.
Oh, they are. This is just post Empire.
The second Death Star has just been blown up. Yeah.
Yeah. Because the Imperial credits don't work anymore.
Yeah, and the stormtroopers who are with Werner Herzog look very dirty and like they've been through the wars.
Yeah, they've been sticking it out. They've been taking odd jobs. They're a ragtag group of misfits that are just using the skills they learned in the military.
Yeah, exactly.
To be fair, I used to live with a guy who had served time in the Polish military, and he was using his skills as a truck driver.
Yeah, and good at painting.
Yeah.
I thought you were about to say I spent.
Work.
I thought you were going to say that I used to live with a guy who worked on the Death Star.
Do you not think?
I would have been
Do you not think, Ben,
fascinated by
that
Shane.
they are a fragment of the Empire, and that doctor that they have with them is a clone doctor from Camino, and he is going to try and clone the Yodas, so that they have an army of Yodas.
Because cloning Yodas is much better than seeing Yoda's mate.
Yeah. And that's why this assignment was off book, and that's why Taika Waititi's robot droid was given the order to kill the baby Yoda so that they couldn't clone it.
Is that Taika Waititi?
Taika Waititi's the robot.
Oh, incredible.
Sharpshooting
Incredible.
robot.
He was a good robot,
like,
though.
all you have to say are the words sharpshooting robot, and you lose my interest almost immediately.
And there's me
Fucking
going,
droids.
yes, sharpshooting robot. I love it. Sharpshooting robot who keeps wanting to self-destruct. My favourite bit.
I shall initiate self-destruct. No,
Ben, it
It
does.
was amazing.
Now that we've categorically decided it was better than Firefly,
We definitely have it.
there are other space
canon.
cowboy shows that are worth mentioning.
There are.
The structure of this is very similar to a much lower budgeted Canadian production, Killjoys,
Killjoys.
because it's about space cowboys, it's about bounty hunters, it's about a ragtag bunch on a rickety old ship.
yes.
But this has a budget and production values.
Big mouse behind
Got
it.
that big mouse money.
Big mouse money, and you can really I challenge you to go and watch episode 1 of Killjoys and think what Killjoys could be if it
was a
had
big
this
mouse.
budget. Yeah, if this was a big mouse production, because Killjoys is not a bad little show, all credit to them.
No,
But
quite
yeah,
tidy.
everything does happen in places which are clearly office buildings that have been refit to look a bit like the future, as opposed to this, which is everything has been built from scratch
For this.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference.
Yeah. Killjoys isn't bad though. There's quite a few. We had another mention there on the Instagram from Nine Wassies, which was Cowboy
on.
Bebop, which is a much beloved anime that from Japan, and it's about a ragtag bunch of mercenaries operating
Now
on a
go
ship.
on, do tell us more. Yeah, I'll just tell you
so-
now that once you said the word anime, Shane's literally shut off.
Yeah.
I think I could push him now and he'd
That's
just
okay.
collapse over in a heap.
I understand. But it's a much beloved one, and it takes a lot of inspiration from a lot of Western-based kind of sci-fi, futuristic, cyberpunk kind of things. So in 2071, there's been a big old hyperspace accident that made the Earth uninhabitable, and we all float around. So very Firefly
Okay.
vibes.
Yeah.
Can't do the Earth
Yeah.
anymore. Have to float around. Making money where
Firefly-
you can, and it follows a bunch of people.
Is Firefly the one where they
main
have the Earth
character
that
is-
was?
Yeah.
Is that a Firefly term? Yeah, okay. Anyway, sorry, keep going.
It's okay. The kind of main character that we focus on is a guy called Spike Spiegel.
Spike Spiegel.
And he was a former hitman, and now he's a kind of bounty hunter for hire. And he hangs around with his new partner, who's a former police officer on the Earth before. Jet Black is the name of that
Jet
partner.
Black?
It's quite
Are
entertaining.
these names direct translations, or has somebody
A Japanese
at the
person
dra-
has come up
I
with them.
have-
that's
looked
right.
at the direct translations from the original anime and gone, nah, we'll cool it up a bit for the Irish audience?
Believe it or not, those names are the original names given to them in
Yeah,
the
that
show.
makes sense.
Because the creator of this anime was intensely inspired by a lot of Western culture, jazz musicians, beat poets, stuff like that. It's bizarre. So you get these really weird things. But he was really into noir films as well. So the main femme fatale of this is a con artist, and her name is Faye Valentine, which is a very noir
Yeah.
kind of
I'm going to look
name.
her up and see if she's sexy.
There's an eccentric hacking girl called Edward Wong, and then the ship's pet is a little Welsh corgi.
You lost me, but now I'm back in.
No.
A
Yeah,
little
you were
Welsh
getting
corgi,
me
a
back
genetically
in,
engineered-
and then you lost me. Small
Welsh
dogs are
corgi.
shit.
It's a little corgi. It's a little corgi. Anyway, it's about a ragtag bunch in space, and they go bounty hunting now and then, and have their usual thing. It's exactly what you think. And it's great. It's heavily inspired by Blade Runner, heavily inspired by a lot of those kind of classic crime movies where they have to get together and do a job, and you have all your usual relationships. Some friends become enemies, some enemies become friends. You know yourself.
Is it the best space
but
cowboy
it's
band?
hugely popular, and I would say a lot of that may have maybe given a few nods to The Mandalorian or even to Firefly. I would argue that Firefly was heavily influenced by
Does
Cowboy Bebop.
Bebop predate the Firefly?
Yeah, Cowboy Bebop has been going since
This is a moment where Ben checks his facts.
Yeah.
1998.
Oh. I didn't know that.
When was Serenity?
Has been going since 1998, and Firefly has been going.
I want to say
since,
2002.
Where's my thing? 2002. Look at you, Michael.
Oh,
Look at
yeah.
you. 2002. So that's a 4-year window of inspiration, and I would argue Quite a bit of inspiring
Very
going on
good.
there.
Of course, Ben.
Just saying.
Of course,
Just
Ben.
saying.
It's within 4 years. Is it inspiration or just plagiarism?
Yeah. I thought you were going to say
Look,
synchronicity
that's
of
not
idea.
for me to say. That's not for
Like,
me
I
to
mean,
say.
it's great if you sit down and you decide to do like a film series and are influenced by Sergio Leone because, cool.
Yeah, he's long gone.
Yeah.
Is he?
No.
I think he's alive, isn't he?
Is it? Maybe.
Don't know.
Don't know.
Sergio
Yeah.
Leone
Oh,
is
okay.
dead.
Oh.
You're thinking of
Don't tell me who I'm thinking of.
the guy who writes all his
Yes.
music.
Yes, yeah, Quentin Tarantino.
Ennio Morricone. He's still alive.
Yes. But yeah, if you sit down and get inspired by them, brilliant, because the body, their best work was back then, and that's what you're being inspired by. If you're being inspired by something that came out last year and you're just stealing.
Just stealing, just copying.
Yeah.
It's just theft. It's just
Of
theft
course, Ben.
at a certain point.
I mean, in that case, we did a whole episode on this before, but if you're going to go back and regress to previous Space Cowboys, Bravestar predates Cowboy Bebop by many years.
Yeah, so there you go. I mean, we're all just copying each other.
It's an
Michael.
endless cycle
We're
of
all just
copying each other. I hope that The Mandalorian is quite successful. I intend to buy myself a Mandalorian action figure. Yes, it will be the first Star Wars figure I've bought in
We shall
many
clear
years.
a shelf.
The Hot Toys version of it looks
I shan't
amazing.
be buying Hot Toys, Ben. As you know, they cost upwards of €300. That is too much for me.
And who has
That
the
is
money?
too much for me for a single figure. We already live in Ireland, Ben. We pay €30 for figures that Americans pay $20 for.
Oh,
So
it's a
immigration already causes a lot of problems. Importation already causes a lot of problems. So I shan't be trucking with no Hot Toys, Ben. Let me tell you.
thank you for that edgy urban take on the modern toy market.
I mean, it is the
appreciate it.
tale of where one middle class white man draws the line at spending money on his hobbies. Not even a hobby, just collectibles.
Collecting things.
Yeah.
It's certainly not an investment, anyway.
His adult toys.
Yeah. No, like my
Oh,
Funko
no.
Pops.
No, adult toys are
That sounds
something
like
else.
my Funko Pops that I
Those
put
are
in my
something
bum.
else. That's the Juggernaut on my
The
weekend.
Human Bullet.
Yeah.
Anyway, are there any more before
No,
we
I think
wrap
that's
up?
it. I think we've cleared the slate of space westerns.
I wanted to give honourable mention to Fargo season 2.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, great
It's
call.
set in the 70s, 60s?
The real
70s?
world.
Set in the real world. It's just a kind of a noir, in keeping with the Fargo universe kind of tale. But it all kicks off because there's a fucking spaceship. And a character looking up at a spaceship, because, I mean, you would, crashes his car and sets the entire sequence of events in motion. And then later on, two of the main characters get together and go, should we mention the spaceship? And the other one goes, nah. It's brilliant. Anyway.
Space Western.
Yeah, honorary space western.
Honorary Space Western. All right, ladies and gentlemen, did we miss anything from our slate? Is there anything that you feel we should have mentioned while we were doing this episode? If you have anything that we've missed, you can get in touch with us in numerous places. We are on Instagram, where you can find the poster that brought Jim so much pain. Or you can find us on seomrabeag.com,
Means Tiny Roman
seomrabeag.com.
Irish.
It does indeed. You can also find us on Spotify if you want to listen to the episodes. We are on Apple Podcasts. We would love a review on Apple Podcasts. We'd love a follow on Spotify. And we'll be back to you next week, where hopefully I've escaped the rigorous interrogation of the United States Border Patrol.
How are you trying
bye.
to go back in?
Yeah, no, that's confusing now. Shane and I are off to buy carpet tacks, everybody. Bye.
Bye. Oh, goodness.